Warrior Cats, Crookedstars Promise by Erin Hunter, Chapter 39. Crookedstar jumped to his paws as Brownberry slid out of the nursery. Should I fetch more honey, he offered. No. Brownberry's eyes were dull, and the end of her tail trailed on the ground. A soft drizzle soaked the camp in the days since her kidding. Willow Breeze's cough had grown steadily worse. Two of the kids had begun coughing, too. Brownberry had kept Crookedstar out of the nursery, but he stayed close, pacing and clearing one moment, praying to StarClan, cursing them the next. All the hope, courage, trust, and patience bestowed on him by his ancestors meant nothing to him now. What was their loyalty to him? How could they let him suffer like this? Make them well. Please make them well. Crookedstar. Brownberry's mood jerked him back to the present. She has a green cough. Then I'll fetch some catmint. Crookedstar headed for the reeds. I've given her catmint already, Brownberry called him back. It's not working. The nursery shook as Willow Breeze burst into another hacking fit. Tiny coughs spluttered alongside hers. Crookedstar flattened his ears. What can I do? You can go in and see her. Brownberry stepped aside. She wants to name the kids. Why now? Crookedstar stared into the shadowy den, his paws suddenly rooted to the ground. Go on, Brownberry prompted. Crookedstar steadied his breath and climbed inside. The nursery was dark, the air sour and stuffy. He blinked, letting his eyes adjust to the half-light. Willow Breeze? She was curled in her nest, their three kids huddled against her belly. She lifted her head as Crookedstar called her name. You came. He crouched beside the nest, brushing her cheek with his muzzle. Brownberry wouldn't let me in before now, but I've been outside all the time. Has it been long? Willow Breeze's eyes were straining. Her muzzle was damp. She coughed weakly, making her whole body shudder. No, Crookedstar whispered. Not long. Willow Breeze gazed into his eyes. I'm sorry. He tipped his head on one side. Why? For leaving you to raise our daughter. Our daughters. You're not going anywhere. Crookedstar pressed his cheek hard against hers. I won't let you leave me. You'll be a wonderful father. A purr rumbled in her throat, making her cough again. This time she struggled to get her breath. I'm so happy Hellstar brought me back from WindClan. I've loved being with you, and with RiverClan. Don't talk like that. Crookedstar fought to keep the panic from his meal. The kids were lifting their heads, turning their muzzles toward him, straining to open their eyes. You can't leave the kids. They need you. I need you. Oh, my precious love. Willow Breeze pushed her muzzle alongside his twisted jaw. Be brave for me, please. You're gonna be fine. Help me name our daughters. Numbness crept beneath Crookedstar's pelt, deadening his heart, slowing his thoughts. Willow Breeze was right. Their daughters needed names. He reached a paw into the nest and touched their darkest gray kit. Minnow Kit, he murmured. He already knew what it would be. He'd planned their names days ago as he paced the clearing. Minnow Kit, Willow Breeze echoed with a wheeze. And Willow Kit. Crookedstar stroked the smoky black kit. I want her to have your name. Willow Kit mewed and caught hold of his paw, churning her hind legs against his pad. Purring, he shook her off gently and touched the palest of the three. And this is Silver Kit. Silver Kit. Willow Breeze relaxed against him, her cheek resting on his. They are lovely names. Her breathing eased, curling herself around her kids. She rested her nose on her paws and closed her eyes. Crookedstar buried his muzzle in her pelt. You rest now, my lovely. He slid into the nest and wrapped himself around her. I'll keep you warm. He closed his eyes and breathed in her soft scent. Crookedstar. The den rustled as Brownberry crept in. She leaned into the nest and touched his pelt. I heard the names you gave your kids. They're beautiful. He lifted his head. How long have I been here? Brownberry's mew was no more than a breath. I'm so sorry. Willow Breeze is gone. No! Crookedstar sat up with a jolt, realizing that Willow Breeze's pelt was cold to the touch. No! He scrambled from the nest and burst from the den. No! He yowled. His yowl ripped through the camp. I never promised you this. His shocked gaze flashed from his clanmates. He raced out of the camp, pounding the wet grass as he pelted into the willows. Mapleshade, he roared. Where are you? Where are you? Is this another of your sacrifices? Is this so I can be the greatest warrior ever? I don't want to be the greatest warrior. I take it back. I take back my promise. If this is what I must suffer, I don't want it. Crookedstar. Oakhart's yowl rang through the trees. Crookedstar collapsed, panting, his brother's pelt brushing his. What are you talking about? Oakheart pressed against him. What did you promise? Crookedstar shook him away. I can't tell you, guilt raged through him. I can't say. Oakheart smoothed his pelt with his tail. Come back to camp, Crookedstar. Our clanmates are worried. Crookedstar pushed himself to his paws and padded blindly after Oakheart, back to the camp, into the clearing. Sunfish was squeezing out of the nursery, Silver Kit dangling in her jaws. Crookedstar ran toward her. Where are you taking her? Sunfish flinched away, her eyes wide. Brownberry darted between them. She's taking Silver Kit to the Elder's den where she'll be safe from infection. She'll nurse her and keep her warm. What about Willow Kit and Minnow Kit? Crookedstar demanded. They're asleep in the nursery. And Willow Breeze? Her name stuck in his throat, choking him. Brownberry's gaze flickered past him. Crookedstar turned and saw Willow Breeze's body already laying out in the clearing, rain dredging her pelt. With an agonizing moan, he barged into the nursery. I'm gonna stay with my kits, he growled. He crawled into the nest with Minnow Kit and Willow Kit. They were trembling with fever and coughing as he tucked himself around them and held them tight. Hush, little ones. I'll take care of you. Anxious mews erupted outside. It's all right, Brownberry soothed her clanmates. He's grieving. Crookedstar flattened his ears and held onto his kits. They coughed, jerking against him, fragile as prey, mewling and squirming as the nursery grew darker. Night fell, and Crookedstar heard paws scuffle the clearing and soft whispers stir the air as his clanmates sat vigil for Willow Breeze. Crookedstar lapped gently at his daughter's pelts until they grew quiet. Relieved, Crookedstar closed his eyes. Crookedstar. He woke up, blinking against the dawn light filtering through the roof. Mudfur's dark pelt moved beside the nest. Crookedstar sat up. Minnow Kit and Willow Kit tumbled away from him. Crookedstar stretched out a paw and nudged them back into the nest. Mudfur touched Crookedstar lightly with his muzzle. They're dead, Crookedstar. He stared down at the tiny bodies. They're with Willow Breeze now. Crookedstar hardly heard what he was saying. He pushed past him, out of the nest. He stumbled blindly across the camp, ignoring the grief-stricken mews of his clanmates, seeing nothing but a blurred sea of pelts as he staggered toward his den. I'm so sorry, Followtail's cry trailed after him. Not the kids, too. Crookedstar blocked out Greypool's desperate wail as he burst into his den. Collapsing in his nest, he buried his nose in the moss. It smelled faintly of Willow Breeze. Swallowing back a yowl, he screwed his eyes shut. Whatever he did, he couldn't escape his promise. He couldn't take it back. I'm destined to lose every cat I care about. Memories swirled tragedy after tragedy. Willow Breeze, his kits, Rainflower, Hailstar, Oakheart's betrayal, Blue for his sacrifice, Mistyfoot and Stonefur don't even know their real mother. His promise was a stone flung into the river, sending never-ending ripples, not just through his life, but through his clans, through everything, all because of Mapleshade. Mapleshade. A growl rumbled deep in his throat. I'm coming for you, Mapleshade. He darted into sleep, willing it, wanting it, and woke in the dark forest. Mapleshade was watching him. Crookedstar, her mew oozed with satisfaction. Rage scorched through him. With a roar, he leaped at her. Silverhawk's death bite was seared in his memory, swiping the old she-cat sideways with a hefty blow. Crookedstar lunged for her throat. She ducked away, growling. Pleasure lit her eyes. You think you're stronger than me? She hissed. She darted forward, reared up at him, slamming her forepaws against his cheek. He staggered, lifted by the force of her blow, and stumbled to the ground. He spun away in time to knock aside another strike. Claws outstretched, he hooked Mapleshade's pelt and flung her backwards. She scrabbled at the dark earth with her hind legs, recovering her balance in a heartbeat, and throwing herself at him. Forepaws stretched out, claws glinting like pike teeth. Crookedstar ducked and slid underneath her, swiping her hind legs away. Then he turned and leaped, twisting in the air, kicking out his hind legs, swiping with his fore, landing on her back as she struggled to find her paws. Mapleshade groaned beneath him, but he held her hard and snapped his teeth around her spine. She pushed up with a force that shocked him. Crookedstar lost his grip. Flying backward, he turned, reaching for the ground. It hit him before he found it, knocking the breath from him. He grunted as he felt her weight on his back. Her claws pierced his pelt. She pinned him to the earth. Go on, then. Kill me, Crookedstar hissed. I've got nothing left to live for. Oh, no. Mapleshade Honeymew jibbed in his ear. Letting you live is far better revenge. Revenge? Crookedstar twitched. What did I ever do to you? Mapleshade jerked him backward. and stared into his eyes. Her gaze flamed with hate. You were always destined to become leader of RiverClan. It was never anything to do with me. Your path was marked out by the stars countless moons ago. She thrust her muzzle closer. But who cares about destiny except fools? I should have been ThunderClan's leader. But ThunderClan cast me out when I took a RiverClan mate. Her lips curled. Familiar, eh? Oakar isn't the only traitor you know. She gave Crookedstar a vicious shake, her claws hooking deeper into his flesh. Our kids were perfect. Her eyes blazed harder. They drowned. After ThunderClan cast me out, I tried to carry them across the river to their father's clan, but the water snatched them from my grasp and carried them away. Crookedstar tried to wriggle free. Oh no! Mappleshade yanked him back to face her. You must listen to the whole story. Her rank breath bathed his muzzle. Their father blamed me. RiverClan cast me out too. Can you imagine what that feels like? To be rejected twice, to be a loner, when all you tried to do was to love? But don't worry, I made them pay. I looked for revenge wherever I could. Why do you think I'm here? Her gaze flicked around the clearing. I earned my place in the dark forest, but what made it worse was that the father of my drowned kids took a RiverClan mate. He promised he would only love me. They had a daughter, and she had a son. And do you know who that son was? Crookedstar shook his head, trying to keep up. Shellheart. Mappleshade snarled. Your father. Her paws were trembling. Do you see now? Do you understand? Understand what? You mousebrain. My kin should have been the leader of RiverClan, not his. If ThunderClan hadn't driven me across the river, my kids would never have died. If RiverClan hadn't rejected me, I'd be their father's mate, not some fish-hearted RiverClan queen. Her breath was coming in gasps now. I've endured so much betrayal. So many cats have hurt me beyond measure, and then you came, destined for so much greatness, when you should never have been born. She shoved him away from her. I wanted to test your loyalty, she hissed. I wanted to see if you were as weak and disloyal as your kin. I wanted to see if you'd betray me like they did. She circled him, her lip peeled back. Do you remember what I said? Do you remember my exact words? I can give you everything you've ever dreamed of. Power over all your clanmates if you promise to be loyal to your clan above all other things. Do you make that promise? And you did. You promised. You chose to sacrifice every cat you ever loved, your mother, your brother, your mate, and now your own kids. From that one promise, I could take them all. You're crazy, Crookedstar whispered. Mappleshade thrust her muzzle close. But I'm also dead. Her eyes glittered wildly, which means you can't hurt me. She barged past him, and Crookedstar woke in his nest with blood welling on his pelt.